Hello, this is Giles Watson from CX Training, and today I want to talk to you about maintaining a customer-centric mindset. So how we really completely focus on our customers, give them all of our attention to ensure that they get the best customer experience they possibly can. So what is a customer-centric mindset? Well, first of all, a mindset it's our attitudes, it's our beliefs, it's our approach to every customer interaction. It's what we're thinking and how we're feeling. And a truly customer-centric mindset, I believe, ticks a number of boxes, which I'm going to go through now. First up is that you are generous with your time. This communicates the message that when you're talking to a customer, they are the most important thing to you. They can have as much time as they want. They are more important than all the other tasks and commitments and priorities that may be in the back of your mind. So you have to demonstrate that you are totally committed to them. If you give the impression that you want to move on to somebody else or something else, that means they're not important and you don't want to give that impression. You need to walk a mile in their moccasins. So, I mean, put yourself in their shoes. Empathy, understand their situation, understand how they feel, because you need to understand their needs. That is part of having a truly customer-centric mindset. Their needs come before yours. You need to understand their needs and you need to demonstrate that you are focused on their needs above and beyond your personal needs and above and beyond the priorities of the organization. And every time you speak to a customer, it's your opportunity to be the best that you can be. So when the phone rings, it isn't a hassle, it isn't a distraction, it's an opportunity for you to be wonderful. And that means giving the customer all of your attention. The next one is a bit challenging for some organizations because I'm suggesting that the customer is more important than the company or the organization. And sometimes when I'm training, organizations say, well, hang on, Giles, we're not sure if that's true, that the company is important too. But I think as a mindset, if you can give the impression that the customer is the absolute priority, the customer is always right, you are there to meet the needs of the customer rather than the customer meeting the needs of the company, it sends a very clear message about how important customers are and it gives them a great feeling. So if you can give customers the feeling that they are more important than your other priorities, more important than the company, that is a wonderful objective to have. Now, obviously there may be trade-offs and that might be difficult to do at times, but if you can at least go into every customer interaction when you're talking to them with an attempt to push that as far as you can, that is a great customer-centric mindset. And finally, this is again very difficult. Can you treat every customer as if they were your favorite customer? Some customers are lovely, they're wonderful, they're nice to you, you have great rapport, they're respectful, they take your advice, wonderful. It's easy to be nice to them. It's easy to give them your time because you enjoy spending time with them. But not all customers are like that. Some customers are difficult, some customers are rude, some customers are aggressive. Can you be generous with your time with them? Can you put their needs before yours? Can you completely focus on them and give them everything they need in terms of your best behavior, the same you would for your favorite customer? That's not easy. But for me, these 6 elements are important elements of maintaining a customer-centric mindset. And by mindset, I mean our emotions, our attitudes, our approaches, our beliefs about what we're thinking basically when we talk to customers. And none of this is easy. This is difficult. If every day we went to work and we were feeling good and feeling positive and positively enthusiastic about every time we picked up the phone and spoke to a customer, it wouldn't be so difficult. But life isn't like that. We have stresses, we have hassles, we have moods, we have priorities, we have other calls on our time. And that's what makes it difficult. Essentially, we have all of these other things. We have company compliance, we have boxes to tick. There's things we can do and things we can't do, which might not be consistent with doing everything the customer wants us to do. We've got a long list of tasks we've got to complete. There's goals that the organization wants us to meet. We want to ideally avoid conflict, avoid personal stress and anxiety. We want to invest in team relationships, and there are specific limits there to how hard we can push colleagues on behalf of customers if we want to maintain internal relationships. For instance, you might get customers criticizing colleagues or criticizing the organization. And if we want to empathize with a customer, sometimes that means acknowledging their criticism of our colleagues, and that's going to be difficult. So we get defensive, and that might not be totally customer centric. Ultimately, the most difficult thing in all of this is we are human. We have emotions and we have our own emotional needs, which means that it's difficult to supplement those and forget those in the interests of the customer. So what do I mean here? I mean that we have task preferences. We prefer, or we like, to do one thing over another. We have our comfort zones. We would prefer to just type and do some research today rather than answering the phone. Maybe we have different priorities to our manager, to the organization, or to customers. Maybe we lack energy. Maybe we lack self-awareness. Maybe our self-esteem is being challenged. If we're criticized by a customer, our natural instinct is to be defensive. It is to fight back, which isn't being customer-centric. So we have all these fears, conflicts, priorities, all these emotions, and all these attitudes of our own. And without realizing it often, they come into conflict with the needs and priorities of the customer. And the customer-centric mindset fades away. This is when we fall into some poor behaviors. We make some poor choices. Maybe we get defensive. Maybe we make excuses. Maybe we fight back. Maybe we're less accountable than we should be. Because that's one of the great things about maintaining a customer-centric mindset is we are accountable to the customer. We are the customer's representative against the rest of the organization. Sometimes we accept that and sometimes we don't. So we justify our own behaviors in terms of, well, the customer said this and the customer was wrong about that. And all of a sudden it's us against them, which isn't a customer-centric mindset. So there's all these challenges, okay? And these are what I call below the line, i.e. less than accountable behaviors in customer experience. So when we say, oh, well, that's not my responsibility, we pass problems to colleagues, we blame the customer, we're defensive, a job's worth attitude. This is where there's conflict between us and the customer. Maybe not overt conflict, but there's a difference in priorities. Customer wants us to do something and we're not accepting that. We've got our own priorities, we've got our own emotions, and for whatever reason, we're not stepping up and demonstrating customer-centric attitudes and customer-centric behaviors. So this is the challenge then for being truly customer-centric, is that we have to recognize when we're demonstrating these low accountable or less than customer-centric behaviors. And it's really a challenge of emotional intelligence. And sometimes this can be worked on within a team if we call each other up. But the first stage is recognizing that sometimes some of us do demonstrate these behaviors which aren't totally customer-centric. And we have to challenge ourselves and accept, well, maybe we could do better. Maybe I wasn't being customer-centric there. Maybe in that conversation there, I wasn't at my best and I could do better next time. So it's a case of growing up, building our emotional intelligence, understanding ourselves as much as it is understanding customers. So I'll leave you with these tips, customer-centric mindset. Some people have these as a poster on a wall or as a screensaver or your own variations on these. But that's been my view on maintaining a customer-centric mindset. I hope that's been useful. If I can be of any help, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thank you very much.